part of this. She told me about this wonderful sisterhood through this sorority that you all have been in existence now for 23 years. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. Her family has known me since I was much, much younger. And I am blessed and thankful to be here with you. We are here to gain strength from one another, but to also be renewed, to be educated, to be enlightened. And as the bio mentioned, the work that I do is a work that I know that I was called to do because it's not a work that I desire. Just to give you a little backdrop of how I ended up in this space. So what happened was I have always been directly affected by every level and climate of what I've gone back to school for. And so what this has done for me through my personal experience was to understand and be empathetic to the things that we go through. So I started in fitness by way of being a personal trainer, and then went into nutrition. I have experienced reproductive issues, just like so many women, that took me back to school to go into holistic health. And so what I want to do with my time today, I don't want to get into specifics because all of us are so unique. All of us have something different going on in our bodies. You can connect with me individually for that. And then you're wonderfully and fearfully made. So let's think about it. Since we are wonderfully and fearfully made, why do we think, or why do we approach our well-being as something that can be so generalized? Two of us can be going through the same thing but require something different because you are wonderfully and fearfully made, right? God has made us unique like that. So the scripture that First Lady has given is definitely a setup. Philippians 4:13 is our focus because it lets us know too that we don't have to ride on our own strength, our own ability, and our own knowledge to be well and be whole. So I want to give you a guideline, and what I actually would like to, I don't want to talk the whole time. I like interactivity because I want you to be able to walk away with something, and then I'll open up the floor with maybe the 10 minutes that I have left for you to ask questions if you feel comfortable enough. We are a group, but when it comes to the body, it gets real personal. And a lot of the things that we go through is very intimate with us. I've been through a whole bunch. Thank God I don't look like what I've been through. But I, as you, have been through a lot. So I honor the youngest to the eldest woman in this room. So let me give you a few questions that you should ask yourself. And where I'm going in this time together is it is going to be about your body, your health, your well-being. I'm not talking about snatched waists. Okay? Come on. I'm not talking about how you can, do all the things as quickly as possible. It's not what we're talking about. But we are going to come from the framework and the baseline of what makes you who you are, because you got this body to carry you throughout the rest of your life. And what you needed at 18 is not the same as what you need at 25, will not be the same what you need at 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, if God grants more, 85. So the first thing that I want us to do is to drop all of the regimens, just drop all of the preconceived ideas of what you think your body needs, and or, because we learn a lot from our peers too, as you should. Your peers are people that you should be able to trust. But even within that, there are some things that your peers may share that may have worked for them, it may not work for you. Okay? So the first thing that I want you to consider is asking yourself, what are my challenges? And so when we talk about being well and being whole, that is mind, body, soul, and spirit. My heart cannot work separately from my mind. My mind cannot work separately from my limbs. My limbs cannot work separately from my organs. It requires all of me is required for me to be whole, for me to be well, to be whole, and to age well.
Yes.
Because we are all going to get there.
Yes.
And let me say this. If we switch our mindset to looking forward to getting older, it is a blessing to become older. That's my goal, is to be old, to be well, and to age well. So the first question that you should ask yourself is, what are my challenges? Can you identify what your challenges are? And here's the thing, not what my symptoms are. What are the symptoms? I got headaches, I have irregular periods, I'm hot, I'm cold, I can't sleep, my skin is changing, my hair is thinning out. All of those things are symptoms, right? Or for the young lady who we were praying for earlier with the autoimmune disease, of which we do believe God for. Autoimmune diseases of all kind and all other stuff that we go through. What are my challenges? Do I know what those challenges are? So some ways that we can depict what those challenges are number one, by hereditary. Having those conversations, if you are blessed to still have your elders alive, have those conversations from the aunt to the mother to the grandmother to as many as you can. And let me say this to us, it's not just about let me hurry up and find out so I can come against them generational curses. Because that's our church talk, right? And we do. But along with that, it equips us with knowing how to combat natural things that are going to happen to a body that is naturally going to age, that is naturally going to change. One of the ladies just said, 2 Corinthians 4 already told us, what? That this body is decaying.
Yes.
Now, decay doesn't have to mean rot.
No.
But decay definitely means that it's changing, it's shifting, we're gonna feel some things, we're gonna have some bumps and bruises along the way as we work on aging well. So the first question is to think about the challenges or the stories or the experiences of those in your family, your maternal line, the women in your family. Secondly, just scan through your life. Think about the natural changes that your body has been going through. And striving to get in touch with, what am I feeling? Where did this come from? How long have I been feeling this thing? Because we're on the move. We going. We're multi-managing, I don't like to say multitasking, but we are multi-managing many things. We've got a lot of hats, we have a lot of roles, we have a lot of responsibilities. And within all of that, a lot of times we are still putting ourselves on the back burner. So the form of self-care is not the spa. The first form of self-care is, what am I feeling? What's going on? Developing a personal relationship with this girl here. What's going on with you? And really try to get in touch with that. That's the second question. The third question that I want you to consider asking yourself is, do I understand this present body? And that's where we can get tripped up, because subtle changes start happening. One sleepless night turns into a month of not getting sleep. And then one headache turns into a cluster of headaches. And one body ache turns into feet and legs swelling up. And then one irregular period turns into heavy bleeding. Or a non-existent period turns into random, sporadic periods. You know, we start shifting our hairstyle because the hair is thinning. We don't really know what's going on, but because we are afraid to find out, we just kind of change the hairstyle. So, asking ourselves, do I understand this body? This 46-year-old body is not the same that she was at 30, 35, 40, not even 45 years old. Do I understand her? That's the third question to ask yourself. Now, with those three questions in tow, then you pursue, what's going on with me? to be well and to be whole. And this is where I'm going to, in a moment, open up some time for questions. And we won't be able to dig into all of them today, but in starting your life journey to be well. So if we even think about the Bible, when the question was asked to the lady, do you want to be made whole? Well, somebody would say, well, yeah, of course she wants to be made whole. You see, she's going through it. But the question was asked for a reason. It's not easy to be made well. And healing is not the same thing from being whole. I can take something or I can make a change and I can be healed for a while. I was healed from not needing glasses for like 15, 20 years. You see me today? So healing is different from being made whole, and healing is not always a miraculous thing. It's not always a spontaneous thing. But to be whole takes a lot of work, because we already, in many things that we're dealing with, we already feel dysfunctional, broken, out of order. Why won't my body work? That's what we feel, right? Why aren't you doing what you're supposed to do? So to be whole means that I am committing to another level of attention and repetition that's gonna be hard. Because if we could all be whole, we would be whole, right? So with these three questions in tow, you begin your journey of being well. So what I always like to consider is, I like to refer to us as an ecosystem. Your entire body is its own planet. You are an ecosystem, and each part of you, mind, body, soul, and spirit, needs something, requires something, but it needs all of us. The scriptures say it as well, that every joint fitly supplies. It's not just about the body of Christ, it's about the body of Christ. That each part of us needs something, which means that I cannot heal reproductive health without healing my mind and my psychology, which means I cannot be well in my mind and my body not be well. Every part of where you are. Alzheimer's and dementia is not an old person's disease. You got silent generation who didn't talk, who didn't deal with stuff. Leave it under the table, leave it in the family. You have the baby boomers who did a little bit, but who held a lot because they saw what their parents went through. Then you got Generation X, which is what I'm from, that was right on the cusp of emerging into new things. And you got millennials and so on and so forth. So when you think about mental health, you think about all of these mental things that we deal with. And I say that it's not necessarily, here's an ecosystem. It's not necessarily a part of getting old and something that you got to run away from. But it's about dealing with everything in our lives. Your gut feeds off your brain. Your reproductive system feeds off of your brain. So to be whole and to be well means what? I got to check in with every part of me. In the years that I've been doing this work, which is about 13 years now, some of the issues that I get a lot with women are the fertility issues, autoimmune disease, hormone issues, perimenopause, menopause, PCOS, of which I've dealt with, fibroids, of which I've dealt with, in perimenopause now. But if we understand, these become rites of passages instead of, Lord, y'all, moaning and groaning about it. And then this is what I would say too, because you are wonderfully and uniquely made, connect with someone, a professional who takes the time to learn you, to ask the questions about you before you give me a prescription, because my field is holistic health. Now, I'm not anti-medicine, everything in balance. But there are some things that if we have knowledge about, coupled with those three questions that you have to ask yourselves, then you know when to choose what. And when you connect with someone who can look into you, then it empowers you and educates you to learn more about your body. So some things that we may take for granted that are definitely important is the water. Yeah. Drinking the water and hydrating water. Holistic fact that staying hydrated and drinking your water will pull over 284 biochemical reactions away from the body. Why? Because we're always losing water in so many ways. So many ways our bodies are losing water. The second thing that we may take for granted, although we know we gotta get it, is sleeping. Yes. We have to make sleep a priority. Why is this? Because especially as women, number one as women, but secondly as Black women and women of color, because that's a different thing. Your body is different. You're wonderful and uniquely made, all right. Black women need something completely different that our counterparts don't. Who's experiencing the maternal mortality the most? Who? Us. Who experiences mistreatment and unlawful care in the hospitals or at doctor's visits the most? Because we are built to be able to handle stuff and we so strong because of the way that we're built. We do. So sleep is important because our cortisol levels drive up in our sleep. If you've already got an issue with inflammation, with joint pain, and with all those types of things, and you're not getting any sleep on top of that, then we're going to aggravate what's already existing in the body. So repeat after me. Drink water.
Drink water.
Get more sleep.
Get more sleep.
And you can ask questions about that because you may ask, well, how am I going to do that? Because everybody's schedule is different, right? The third one is to move your body.
Yes.
You have to move. Now that's going to look different for all of us. Some of us are going to sit and be fit. Well, that's the reality. Some of us are going to go to the gym. Some of us are going to do something in our living rooms. Some of us are going to, like COVID, I saw a lot of people going to build gyms out of their garages. Everyone's going to do something different, but what we all have got to do is move. If you have to start in a chair and do that, that's okay. Because what we don't use, we do lose. But not only do we lose it, it begins to convert itself into pain. And when we begin to feel pain, we stop. Because we don't want to feel pain. So start with one thing. You can sit in your chair and just listen. The old folks used to say, you keep on living. Keep on living. And we'll run into experience and time. So, 3 points, because y'all Google, y'all talk to people, y'all done tried a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to give you all of that. Give you some very simple framework that is about you being well, that will set you up for where you want to go. The 3 questions, repeat those questions. What are those 3 questions? Do I know my challenges? What are my challenges? All right? What's your second question that you're going to ask yourself? Do I know what I need to overcome these challenges? Okay, so first question is, what are my challenges? That may be a diagnosis. Okay, the doctor has said I have XYZ. Now before you go rebuking, and then listen now, I've been in church all my life too, I'm a PK, so I get it. You do have to have faith. You do have to call those things that be not as though they were. You have to watch the way you think and what you process even by words. That is very true. But your applied knowledge, your applied knowledge is what's going to help you combat this journey, because healing is not sensational. Jesus did that, but even when he did that, he gave instruction when he sent those people along the way, on their way, right? So we have to think about that. So do I know my challenges? The second question is, do I know what I need to do to overcome these challenges? And excuse me if I didn't make that clear. Do I know how to overcome these challenges?
Yes.
The third question to ask myself is, do I know this body? Do I know this 25-year-old body? 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. Do I know this 100-year-old body? Do I know this body today? Those are my three questions. And then the three things that I know that I can do, I'm going to add a bonus to that, and then I'll open the floor to questions. In being well is I've got to replenish in my body what my body is constantly releasing. So in your sleep, you're releasing water. When you go to the restroom, you're releasing water. When you sweat, you're releasing water. When you're frightened, and you're in, like the sister said earlier, fright and flight mode, and the adrenaline gets moving, you're releasing water. You're releasing water in so many different ways. Secondly, I have got to make sleep a priority. One thing that I have, and I share this because this is my road, may not be your road. This is why specifics are important. But one thing that I have been doing to get my hormones under better control is making sleep my priority. It is not a negotiable. I gotta sleep. Now, because sleep is a process and it's a journey, you don't just get in the bed and you don't. As a matter of fact, research says that if you are a person that gets in the bed and within 2 minutes you sleep, then we need to look into that. Because sleeping is a process. Your body is an ecosystem. You've been moving and running, if not physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically you have. And so now all of a sudden you want to get in the bed and go to sleep. When you get in the bed, focus on resting. Just rest. There are different things. Get in the bed and just relax.
Relax.
Just start there. But making my sleep my priority has been one of the ways that I've been able to change. Here's some things that happen as we get older. We are estrogen dominant. That is a reality of black women.
Yes, it is.
That's why we lead the way in breast cancer, because not just hereditary, but because we have a lot of estrogen in our bodies. Another thing that happens with estrogen as we get older, we lose it, your body softens. So you're gonna start getting soft naturally in places that you may have had more muscle. Okay? Then you may start, I ain't gonna holler.
Gaining weight.
Weight gain is definitely one. Frequent urination can be one.
Yes.
Low libido can be another. Are there any men around?
No, man.
Vaginal dryness can be another one. Thin hair, loss of hair can be another. Brain fogginess is another one. There is a current study, and I'm going to close soon. There's a current study of women in between 45 and 55 years old now that are suicidal. But the research is linked to perimenopause. Because doctors don't take it serious that you are going through these mood swings and these changes that you don't understand. You're not feeling like yourself because there are chemical imbalances and changes that are happening in you. Cold sweats and hot flashes are happening.
Lord help us.
Very, very stubborn weight gain is happening. And when it gets to that point, if you've gone 3 consecutive months in trying to do all the things and you cannot get that weight to move, then it could be that it's hormonal combined with some of the other things. At that point, it's not about how much you work out. It's not about how clean, that's a buzzword, there's no such thing as clean eating. It's not how clean you can eat at that point. Connect with somebody. My medical team outside of myself, they are black and brown people. Because when I go, I need someone to listen to what I've got to say.
Right.
Take your head from out of that pad and let's talk. And respect my voice. You are your first doctor because you've lived with your body your entire life. So what you have to say does matter. It should not be dismissed I'll say this and then I'm gonna end. My brother and I lost our mother 2020. Mom was a big advocate about doctors. If she trusted the doctor, she wanted everybody to go to that doctor. So here we are in the hospital. Mom is laying there. We gotta limit our grief so that we can handle paperwork. And the doctor that she always went to, a white guy, did not want to sign her death certificate. You know what he said? I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. Number one, my mom was a baby boomer, so I'm sure there were questions she didn't ask because we esteem those people in the white coat. And we just listen. Whatever they say is what we're gonna do.
Right.
You have the right to ask questions.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
You have the right to say, now what is this going to do for me?
Yes.
Would you administer this to your mom, your sister? Would you take this? Will this settle what I'm dealing with, or is this just going to settle the symptom? I just use that as an example to let you know you deserve to have people that you can trust and listen to, and who will listen to you. I've walked out of a doctor's office before because he didn't want to respect my knowledge and said, well, if you hush, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Oh, okay.
All right, bye. Get your stuff and go. Yeah.
Packed up my purse and walked out.
That's right.
Just some things to remind us of, because we go through a lot. You've been through a lot. And the bonus thing that I'm gonna say to you is stop picking yourselves apart. The next time you stand in your mirror naked, appreciate that girl for everything she's brought you through. Come on. How much have you gone through?
Yes.
What all have you dealt with? And other people's burdens that you have bared on your shoulders. And you look in the mirror and pick yourself apart because your hips have spread a little bit, or your stomach has spread a little bit, or you got a little adult acne, or you got some back fat, or your arms are swinging and flopping. But what has your body brought you through? Next time you get in that mirror, you look at yourself, you hug yourself, and you tell your body, thank you. Thank you for being with me when the doctors couldn't figure out. Thank you for being with me through the miscarriage. Thank you for being with me through the abortion. Thank you for being with me through the fibroids. Thank you for being with me through all of the things, through the cancer, through the autoimmune disease, through the divorce, through the separation, through the accident, whatever you've been through in your life, tell your body thank you. If we can speak kindly to plants, because we believe that plants grow from what we say, then what are our bodies any less than? If, as a man speaketh, so is he, then what am I saying to her? I give you permission to be made whole. As I go through this protocol, I will apply my faith, I will apply my love, I will apply what I speak, and I will apply what I practice, and I give you permission to be healed and